Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope everyone enjoyed the eclipse yesterday. I'm glad we didn't schedule this for yesterday. We would have been competing with something much larger. And I hope no one stared directly at the sun. I am curious if anyone was in the path of totality and got to see that live. I was watching the news over the weekend and hearing all the hype about the eclipse and how rare it is that the path of totality fell over land and so many of us got to witness it. Everyone was talking about how it's such a good reminder of how big the universe is and what a small part of it we actually know. And it really puts things into perspective. So whatever is stressing us out in our daily lives, it's a reminder that the world doesn't stop spinning. The sun is still going to rise. We should really stop to smell the roses and be present and take each day as it comes. So I'm watching all this, and I went to yoga, and I'm really just seeing out of my third eye and taking it into perspective. And then I thought, man, I really hope everyone is able to log into this webinar tomorrow. And if they don't, it's going to be the end of the world. So when I tell you that I'm happy that you're here, I really mean it. And it's not just because my world will continue to spin. We really do have some great things to share with you. And maybe one of them will make your day-to-day a little bit easier and alleviate whatever your personal end of the world is on a daily basis. And don't lie, I know we all have one. So next to me on the screen here today to walk you through a preview of our product roadmap, we have Shireen, our Chief Product Officer, Rosie, our Director of Product Marketing, and Prashant, our VP of Product. So before I pass it over to them, if you've been here before, you know I like to do a little icebreaker raffle at the top of each webinar and give Bluecore customers a chance to win some prizes. So today, I'm thinking about, of course, everyone that rented Airbnbs to see the solar eclipse and March Madness. So congrats to South Carolina and Yukon fans. I'm thinking about events where money is no object for you. You travel to wherever, you'd pay whatever the ticket cost. What is that one event? Could be something that you've actually attended in the past and it was the best money you've ever spent, or it could be something that you wish you could attend in the future, maybe something that isn't on the schedule yet. Could be your team in the Super Bowl playoffs or a certain artist touring, anything that comes to mind. Drop your one event where money is no object in the chat, and I will pick 2 random answers, and you will get a $100 gift certificate to spend at your favorite brand and $100 to spend to donate to a charity of your choice. So think about that, and just want to go through a couple of housekeeping items before I pass it over to the team. We will be recording this session and sharing with you via email later this week. If you do have questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. We do have quite a bit of content to get through, so we will try to get to as many as possible. But if we aren't able to get to your question, we will absolutely follow up with you directly after the event. So keep those events coming in. I love these. Adele, the Tony Awards, the Olympics opening ceremony. Love that one. Keep those coming in. We'll come back at the end to announce our 2 winners. But with that, I will pass it over to Shireen, who is going to kick us off.
Excellent. Thanks, Kate. So hi, everyone. I am Shireen Halal. As Kate mentioned, I'm the Chief Product Officer at Bluecore, and welcome to our 2024 Roadmap Preview. The objective of today's session is to give you all a preview of the most significant investments and launches coming in the next 12 months, with a special focus on evolving your marketing strategy to be more customer-centric. To that end, today we will cover investments in identification, customer analytics, extensibility, and platform upgrades. So it would not be a webinar if I didn't start with the traditional panic slide. Or as most of us with retail experience know, it is just another Tuesday. The past decade has been an obstacle course in balancing reach with return. The fundamentals of how to identify shoppers are being rewritten, with over 50% of cookies disappearing as a result of Google tracking updates. This, among many other things, is making it harder than ever to reach the same audience and more expensive while engagement is on the decline. At Bluecore, we believe that reach is 2 things: audiences and messaging. The channel is just what happens in between. And oftentimes reach is seen as a metric for acquisition. But with all the advancements in capturing and actioning on shopper signal, reach is also how you convert, retain, and grow your audience with the most effective programs. Since Bluecore is specifically built for the largest retailers in the world, it's our job to respond to the challenges that threaten reach. So in response to cookie deprecation, we launched our transparent identification product. This is the only identification solution in the industry that is built against first-party identifiers and empowers you to holistically understand your ID rate while optimizing your traffic for reach. In response to the rising cost of acquisition, we launched our customer movement practice, which uniquely evaluates the quality of your reach over a 10-year look-back period to determine the right set of campaigns to drive incrementality and wise spend. And in response to the low engagement driven by mass marketing, we're integrating Bluecore's predictive models and catalog signal to transform broadcast signals like Salesforce into highly orchestrated personal experiences. Now, historically, Bluecore's technology has been categorized by channel, but under the hood, our core competencies have always been to identify and move shoppers by connecting people to the right product, content, and recommendations. Moving forward, you'll hear a lot more about Bluecore's advancements as an identification and customer movement technology. All of our advancements over the past 12 months have been in pursuit of helping brands shift from list-based channel campaigns to ID-driven customer movement. And throughout today's presentation, you'll see some of the incredible results we've driven together with our customers to help adapt the retail experience to the everywhere consumer. So, how does identification and customer movement fit into your current strategy? Since most tech stacks are oriented around channel metrics, then there's a lot of different operating models. This can really vary from brand to brand. What I want to share here is one of the most universal recommendations I can make, which is aggregated across hundreds of different brands that Bluecore works with today. The first place to start is always with identification, triggers, and predictive models. This is what helps you reach more of your acquired base, automate campaigns based on shopper and product signal, and use that signal to improve the segmentation of your broadcast programs. This is a purely incremental approach. And with the right partner, you can significantly increase the size of your active audience and start driving a higher conversion rate from shoppers that you've been suppressing because of a lack of signal or automation. Once you've established a strong identification spine with triggered programs, the next step is personalizing your channel activation and data extensibility. This can take 2 shapes. One, integrating data beyond marketing systems into CDPs, BI tools, and analytics to create an optimal customer experience, or using Bluecore as an end-to-end workflow for cross-channel campaign automation. And of course, the last but most important step is measuring customer metrics through a customer movement practice. This is about evaluating revenue per shopper, trip frequency, cross-category buying, full price buying, all the things that are critical to optimize your acquisition, conversion, and LTV growth cycle for your shopper base. Today, Bluecore is one of the only partners on the market that can connect identification and campaign performance to shopper metrics in an automated way that directly ties to your comps. So while customer centricity has always felt intuitive for brands and tech partners alike, Bluecore set out to quantify the value to help guide retailers through organizational and technological change. With over 50 brands now practicing customer movement, we see a 2.6x lift in retention rates, as well as a more efficient channel spend and more predictable growth year over year. One really excellent example of this is Lenovo. So by partnering with Bluecore and running a customer movement analysis, we were able to mutually identify that purchase frequency was lagging in Lenovo's active buyers in comparison to their peer group. This represented a pretty sizable revenue opportunity. So Lenovo worked with Bluecore to develop a strategy of signal-based campaigns designed to increase purchase frequency for the cohort that was the least represented. These were things like back in stock campaigns, price drop campaigns, and using predictive models to build category affinities. Lenovo was quickly able to launch more than 10 automated campaigns, which in less than a year drove 6.5% increase in repeat purchase and 80% less time than any other solution. Now, before I hand it off for Rosie to dazzle you with all things identification, I'll leave you with the principles that drive Bluecore's product vision. No surprise, they line up very well with our identification and customer movement philosophy. Our view of the space doesn't require one partner to be at the center of your stack, but instead we orient around customer outcomes. At Bluecore, we believe identity recognition and transparency is critical to maximize reach and reduce wasted acquisition dollars. We believe that data extensibility and flexibility is foundational to shift to a customer-centric approach. And we believe customer movement is essential to increase repeat purchase rates and loyalty. I hope you are all going to be as excited about the roadmap as I am, and I will pass it off to Rosie to dive in.
Thanks, Shireen. Hi, everyone. Over the past year, we've set out to remove the black box typically surrounding identification. This is the elusive metric that many of our retailers didn't even know they could track. And in doing that, we uncovered the impact that identification has on reach and the downstream impact on triggers. Let's dive in. In the past year, we've seen such positive results from customers who are adopting our best practice strategies in a very short time. Starting with Oriental Trading, they were able to increase their ID rates by 100% in just 6 months, whereas City Furniture was able to increase their ID'd customers by 300% within a year. Across the board, our customers have increased reach by 42.5%. This is great momentum that is propelling us to double down on identification and bring more transparent identification to our customers. And we do that in a few ways. To start, from the moment that the Bluecore JS is set up on your site, we immediately begin picking up on thousands of website signals. The Bluecore JS is able to recognize a shopper, whether it's a known or unknown shopper, and captures every action that's taken across multiple devices, like viewing a product, adding a product to cart, exiting a page, etc., and ties it back to their ID. And our onboarding and implementation processes have been set up to prioritize and maximize identification from the get-go. For example, we implement email appends to all Bluecore emails to recognize every single shopper coming to your site. And we encourage customers who are using a different ESP in tandem to do the same with those emails as well. We're constantly ingesting feeds from different sources, like your loyalty feeds, your offline purchases, historical IDs, and so on, all of which not only enrich your audiences, but they also serve as identification data points under the hood. The reality is you always want more. And while our native JS is designed and geared to help you identify your visitors, you may find yourself hitting a ceiling with your ID rate and looking to break out of that. That's when an ID network can serve as an identification accelerator, helping you increase reach and identification rates almost instantaneously by tapping into a partner network and recognizing a wider range of anonymous shoppers. But not all ID rates are made the same. The Bluecore Transparent ID Network is the largest, most reliable, and more importantly, most compliant first-party ID network to help you continuously re-identify shoppers previously known to you and maintain ID completeness over time. And within 24 hours, customers already see an increase in ID rates. And this is a network that consists of over 900 million IDs captured deterministically from over 5,000 brands and publishers and processes about 10 billion events daily. And it's also a one-way door, so it requires no data sharing back into the network. And this ensures while you are still benefiting from the ID graphs and increased ID rates, we are still within the safe boundaries of the various legal requirements and satisfying our enterprise retailers' diligent privacy and security concerns. That cannot really be said about some other competitive ID networks out there. And we know from reporting what the key levers are that impact your ID rates. Like I mentioned before, we purposefully chose to call this our transparent ID product because we knew the biggest difference and impact we can provide to our customer is removing the black box around identification. We've been diligently working on a suite of ID reports that provide you with a complete view of what's under the hood and what's impacting your identification. We have 3 reporting dashboards slated to be released to all our customers in the upcoming quarter. The first is going to be the ID rate report. Some of our customers may already have seen that new ID report in their platforms, and it shows the current ID rate, your ID trends, and the ID rates by traffic source. This is the first step of putting these high-level data at your fingertips. If you're using the ID network, you may also have started seeing another report, the ID providers report, which shows you the lifts that the ID network is providing on top of the native JS capture. This will be getting an update in Q2, where we'll also surface up campaign-level reporting, helping you tease out the impact of the ID report on incremental delivers and incremental revenue from the re-identified shoppers. And finally, the ID source report, which I'm personally super excited about. Imagine on a Monday morning being able to report back to your leadership that your paid media ads drove a 30% impact on ID rate this past week. Or looking under the hood to see what percentage of your ID rate was driven by the checkout flow versus your campaigns, your capture campaigns, or your email appends. Or perhaps breaking down how your reach is split between net new identifies and re-identified customers, and use all this information to help optimize your website and your messaging strategies. All of this will be coming in Q2. We're working on getting all these granular level reporting in the UI, and will be released in the next few months. In addition to the tooling to achieve and understand your ID rates, we're also equipping you with best-in-class recommendations and strategies to improve your IDs. We're doing that via playbooks and checklists that take into account all the key levers that improve ID rate. It's not a set it and forget it approach. Our teams are constantly checking against the best practices playbook to ensure your programs are optimized. In addition to that, we're undergoing identity assessments, which for a handful of our customer, and looking to scale that to our entire customer base, to understand what are the different factors that are contributing to lower or higher ID rate. Honestly, it's the single most common question we've gotten since we started talking about identification. Is my ID rate good or bad? And it's not really surprising, knowing that this was traditionally a metric you weren't really privy to. The identification assessment will allow us to provide detailed benchmark per retail vertical to help inform our customers where they stand with respect to their peers and what they need to do to rectify. And of course, we're always working on auditing, monitoring, and alerting to inform us when sessions or IDs are spiking or dipping unexpectedly, so we're able to identify where the issues are and investigate and rectify as needed. Now that we've identified more shoppers, the goal is to get them into the purchase funnel and continuously nurture them through the different lifecycle stages. But as you've heard us mention a few times now, we're moving to a world where the customer is at the center, not the channel. And to be customer focused, we need to be able to execute on the signals we're picking up in any channel, within and outside the Bluecore platform walls. Which is why opening up the Bluecore intelligence and making our audience and data more extensible into the different vendors and systems on your stack is a major investment pillar for Bluecore this year. As we think more about the customer, we began exploring how we can bring our behavioral and purchase intent signals to where the majority of our customers are centralizing their own customer data, and that's in the CDPs. So we started with a hypothesis. What if we combine Bluecore data and audiences with the customer data that already exists in a retailer's CDP? Will it be redundant? Will it be incremental? So we, of course, set up a test, and we were pleasantly surprised at the results. A fashion apparel brand successfully tested combining Bluecore data with their CDP data, in this case in parity. When combining a Bluecore affinity audience with the same affinity audience in parity, we were able to grow that audience size by 48%. And once those audiences were combined, the master audience was then pushed out into email and paid media. And the result? The increase in reach drove a 35% incremental revenue and 150% lift in ROAS for their Facebook campaigns. This gave us the momentum to explore this further. To date, our extensibility capabilities were focused on sending campaign analytics over to an SFTP to allow our customers to get better understanding of their campaign performance in their analytic platforms. The other capability was pushing our standard audiences into marketing channels like Facebook, Instagram, Google Criteo, or TikTok to be leveraged for acquisition and retention campaign and do better targeting. So this year, we are investing in more resources to make our data accessible in CDPs, business intelligence systems, and cloud systems, and tapping into data sets previously exclusively used within Bluecore, like our predictive scores and raw event tables. Out the gate, we'll be releasing capabilities to export into CDPs by pushing our audiences and predictive scores and affinity percentile scores into CDPs. This is the first time we make our model scores accessible outside of Bluecore. And we believe now is the critical time for that as retailers shift to a customer-led approach and needing to look at their shoppers and customers holistically, regardless of channel. The CDP extensibility is almost ready for release. We're actively working on getting that out to market in the coming months. So you'll be hearing a little bit more about that soon. As a fast follow, we're also making our product recommendations and input products extensible with audiences. And this will allow you to personalize the content, the what, with the intelligence Bluecore is providing and into the who, the audience segments that you are targeting. And this will unlock a slew of use cases like personalizing your direct mail or enhancing your push notifications with products your shopper was previously viewing or carting. You can send an input product to your SMS provider, or even empower your in-store sales or customer service teams to provide recommendations tailored to your shopper based on their history with your brand. And then later in the year, we're unlocking the ability to send Bluecore's raw event data into business intelligence platforms like Snowflake, for example, or into other cloud systems, putting the fundamental and foundational data that impacts your programs and your business in the tools your teams are currently using. So why are we choosing to start with CDPs? We're choosing to start with CDPs as our initial net new extensibility capability because CDPs remain the primary source of truth on customer data for the majority of our retailers. CDPs are present on nearly every MarTech stack, but the vast number of CDPs are built on purchase data only. In a world where average site conversion rate hovers around 3%, that's a lot of missed opportunities to identify, reach, and convert. And with the death of the third-party cookie, this is going to be even more critical than ever as reach is going to decrease naturally as a result. By being primarily focused on purchase data, CDPs are overlooking real-time on-site signals that indicate demand signals and purchase intent, which means you, as a retailer, are missing out on insights that enable you to personalize your outreach to convert non-buyers or reactivate lapsed buyers and drive incremental revenue. Let me give you an example I heard recently from one of our customers that really helped me personally truly realize the impact of demand signals. Recently, one of their products was featured by a big influencer on TikTok. There was an influx of purchases for this product that the merchandising team was thrilled about. They sold, let's just give an example, 100 units of that item, and it was a cause for celebration. However, what they didn't know or have visibility into was that they could have actually sold 500 units of that product based on the number of visitors and engagement with that page. And that was because they were primarily looking at purchase data. So when we think of tying on-site signals with the customer data, we actually think of it as a three-prong approach. The Bluecore retail data model is built to include ID, and that's the customer, behavior, those are the real-time on-site signals, and product, which is our native understanding of your product catalog. Together, they form the foundation of all our predictive models. It's through this model and the fact that we can connect an ID with a behavior with a product that we are able to predict a shopper's next best purchase or their channel affinity, depending on where they're engaging more in SMS or email, or what their propensity is to click, to open, to convert, or what their predictive lifetime value is. Purchases are one factor for sure, but they are not the sole factor that plays into these predictive models. And that is what allows Bluecore to understand intent and serve as a predictor of future behavior and conversion. The framework is simple. What we're looking to do is we're investing resources into making Bluecore's intelligence extensible into CDPs, data warehouses, and cloud systems. In addition to making our Bluecore audiences accessible in those systems, we are for the first time making our percentile scores that are at the core of our predictive models, as well as our raw campaign and event data extensible outside of Bluecore. This will not only give marketers, but also analytic and data science teams full flexibility to derive insights and strategies from these data sets that are unique to their business and at the shopper level. And while this data is going to be extensible across any audience management system in your stack, we are looking to build cloud-based integrations with two specific platforms, Imperity and Snowflake, to build more efficient and streamlined data sharing bidirectionally between the two systems. I'd like to spotlight two use cases of what this will look like for a marketer or an analytic team. It's by no means comprehensive, and like I said, it's going to be unique to every customer's business and how they use this data. The first use case is giving you an understanding of the relationship between your customer and your products. And we'll do this by exporting different ranking scores that define how your shopper engages with your product and your brands, as well as your website and your email and SMS programs. An example of that could be your shopper's affinity score ranking. Excuse me. An example of that could be your shopper's affinity score ranking their affinities to a specific set of products. You want to know your shopper's highest category preference or highest brand preference? This can help you personalize your messaging and content for that shopper in the different channels outside of just Bluecore. You can also export predictive scores and percentile ranking scores for things like PCLV, the likelihood to take action, whether convert, open, click, or unsubscribe, channel affinity to email and SMS, and discount affinity scores. And you can send those over to your CDP to beef up your customer 360 and use them for better segmentation and targeting. In Q2, we are looking to continue fleshing out the extensibility capabilities, this time integrating into Snowflake and other data warehouses. Retailers use analytics in ways unique to them and require data views and data cuts beyond the scope of what the Bluecore analytic reporting platform can provide. We want to enable marketers and analytics team and even tech teams to have a full understanding of their shopper data and be able to view this data in the most efficient and usable way possible. By making our data tables extensible into Snowflake or other BI tools, we're looking to unblock you from understanding the impact of your campaigns at the shopper level and inform all aspects of the business, including merchandising and loyalty, by leveraging unstructured data and deriving insights beyond just campaign performance. I'm going to pass the torch now to Prashant to wrap up this section and delve into the world of customer movement and the platform updates.
Thanks, Rosie. Hello, everyone. So extensibility takes many forms, right? And it's at its core, it helps you integrate and activate with different parts of your tech stack seamlessly. Salesforce is a key partner for us, and we recognize that they are a critical part of your marketing tech stack. We are making additional investments to further improve our interoperability with Salesforce so that your marketing execution becomes that much more seamless. We are moving from an API-based approach to a file transfer-based approach, which actually works much better for nonlinear scaling. This increases your throughput to over 1 million plus emails an hour. And furthermore, we are investing in capabilities which will allow for better click tracking of Bluecore emails in Salesforce, getting full feedback loop of deliverability metrics from Salesforce. Ultimately, right, this ensures that whether you send your communications through Bluecore natively, or you're using Salesforce as the last mile for your Bluecore email, you have the highest possible standards of speed, reliability, and observability. Okay, so we spoke about identification, triggers, channel activation, and extensibility. But what's the North Star here? The ultimate North Star for all of us here is to achieve profitable acquisition, organic retention, and help each and every one of your customers achieve their optimal state of lifetime value with your brand. Now, I want to talk about how we can understand, track, and achieve that objective with what we call customer movement. First and foremost, we start with the customer instead of the channel, so that you start with a strategy before you translate it to channel specific execution. This is the strategy, execution, analytics, and experimentation flywheel that we have designed in order to help you achieve a clean sheet assessment of your customer base, identify pockets of goodness, improvements, corrections, and then develop KPIs that are material to move the needle and are aligned with your corporate objectives. Then execute these campaigns that are targeted towards specific pockets of opportunity, and have finally a continuous loop of experimentation, execution, and analytics. Just in our work with our first set of customers on this, we have seen an improvement of about 50% in sales from new customers and $5 million in incremental revenue just in the first 6 months where our customers have implemented this. So, customer movement. What is it? This is a framework that helps you align on and prioritize incremental strategies that are surgical and specific for improving reach and driving your holy trinity of profitable acquisition, organic retention, and helping each customer reach optimum CLV. It's an in-depth analysis revealing the problem areas, the growth opportunities within your customer file. Very importantly, it's benchmarked across your peers and coupled with specific campaign recommendations and use cases where you can bend the curve in case of problem areas and double down on growth opportunities and hit the inflection point for acceleration. So how do we go about it? It starts with a historical analysis of your customer data excuse me, and transactions through our customer movement table. You will have a retail strategist-led analysis of active, inactive, new buyer cohorts with peer benchmarking for purchase frequencies, survivorship, new buyer penetration, and AOV growth. What this reveals is high and low value cohorts of customers and the most important ones to focus on to increase customer value and profit. Then we turn around and recommend a set of use cases. So now we convert that strategy into execution. We recommend a set of use cases to turn on in order to influence these focus areas that we uncovered in the analysis. What do you need to do for this? Nothing. In most cases, like our most tenured customers, we already have access to the purchase data. If not, we will ask you for the purchase data, and after that, our team will handle all the heavy lifting and get back to you with a full report within a week in order to come back to you with a definition, a clean sort of assessment of, so that you can understand your problem areas, the growth opportunities within your customer file through an analysis of inactive, active, new buyer cohorts within your customer file, and then the subsequent actions you need to take in order to create a more active customer base that's up towards the left and right. Now let's talk a little bit more about the specifics of execution here. We spoke about strategy. Now let's talk about execution and the difference between a channel-led and a customer-led approach. Some of you might have seen this globe view before. This globe view is our representation of the universe of signals or use cases that we can action on in order to overall drive the customer movement through the life cycle of the customer from like acquisition, conversion, retention, and loyalty. As your customer moves through from the different stages of the purchase funnel, from discovery to consideration to conversion, in a channel-centric world, you are limited to channel-specific information, which is A, not real-time, B, more channel-specific, and therefore not tied to driving a customer outcome. Operating in a channel-led world, sans real-time signal information means A, the lack of intent signal, which means B, less relevant campaigns to foster customer movement, and C, sometimes you may have some of these gray signals to the left, but most of them are not connected to real-time intent signals, and therefore they cannot predict future behavior or conversion. Go back to Rosie's example when she was talking about 100 people bought it, but 500 people were interested in it. Your purchase signal is a late indicator, right? So the real-time if the real-time product signal does not exist, the ability to influence the life cycle is also limited. So now let's take a look at what a complete picture replete with signals and communication opportunities actually looks like. With a customer-led approach anchored in identity recognition and signal-based messaging, you have a wealth of signals and therefore more opportunities to engage with relevant campaigns and actively drive customer movement through the funnel. As customers shop through more and more non-linear paths, multiple simultaneous purchase journeys, this represents the breadth of signals that you as retailers need to meet customers wherever they are and capture every possible conversion opportunity to move the customers from anonymous to known to first-time buyer to repeat buyer to loyal customer time and again. Now, as we go through the customer movement assessment, we look at the globe to recommend what use cases you need to light up in order to pursue these opportunities uncovered in the assessment in the first place. And it's something that we continue to iterate and go back to you continuously so that we can light up new use cases and further proliferate customer movement across all touch points and channels, ultimately resulting in a very active and progressive customer base. Now, looking at some impact numbers and comparisons of doing a customer movement assessment. I'm not going to read all the numbers, but broad strokes, right? In the first 30, 60, 90 days, we have seen our customers identify 40 plus new campaign opportunities, generate over $900,000 in revenue, and about a 25% improvement in net emailable file. Over the next 6 months, we see them growing repeat purchases by 33% and generate 55% more in sales from new customers. Let's just that sink in for a second. The TLDR, the summary here is, if you're looking to make your customer file work harder, more efficient, and be more surgical in investing your marketing dollars, you need to be hounding us to get a customer movement assessment done. Pronto. Okay. So we discussed assessing the customer base. We discussed developing the strategies and executing those strategies against the GLOBE framework. But how do you know that your efforts are bearing fruit? How do you see a longitudinal view of a view that's customer centric and not channel specific, right? So customer analytics is our new set of products that is a standardized set of reports based on customer centric metrics. These allow you to drive insights and strategy, and these reports allow you to easily observe and track performance comps by customer cohorts for revenue, AOV, and counts, as well as do cohort analysis for movement of customers across key life cycle stages with your brand. This allows you to understand how your customers are moving, the speed and the value with which those customers move through your brand experience. And the customer-centric view basically ensures that you're able to view and quantify groups of customers for specific intents, specific points of aha moments with your brand. And it's actionable. You can use these insights to take action directly in the platform to drive these desired results. So, sorry, next slide. Yeah, this one. Yeah. I kind of breezed over an important capability there in the previous slide, cohort analysis. Cohort analysis are a marketer's best friend. They give you the ability to isolate interest customer groups, look at their metrics with the context of seasonality, retail moments, and see these movements real time as customers move through and like how it looks year over year for a given cohort. With customer analytics product, we are also launching the ability to perform cohort analysis on these cohorts that are being defined for you as part of your customer movement assessment in the first place. You can track their behavior patterns, see the impact of your actions on key metrics for these cohorts, and further identify new pockets of opportunity in the customer base. All right. So you did your customer movement assessment, you developed the strategies, executed them, and are tracking performance. But now you have new ideas to test, and you don't know if they would be effective. It's expensive to take stuff away from your working file because that's the one that's making your revenue on a day-to-day basis. So you need an environment where you can actually test out these new strategies, see their effectiveness quickly, and make a call whether to scale it or, more importantly, kill it quickly, right? So Experimentation Hub is our new capability that's coming down the pike, which allows you to create and scale test and learn strategies at an audience, channel, campaign, and a journey level to maximize performance. You have access to experimentation templates based on objectives and best practices. There's a centralized hub where you can actually look at all of these tests that you're running, quickly read if your test has reached statistical significance so that you can scale your winning results, and more importantly, kill the ones that are actually not giving you the outcome that you desired, but definitely that's a learning. And then we'll also be setting up some test guardrails so that increases the observability of testing outcomes, and providing you feedback on what key metrics, what key parameters you need to optimize your experimentation on. Most importantly, all of this data is not only instantaneously available to you in the platform, but it's also exportable back to your analytics team so that they can play with it, they can define the source of truth and test versus control outcomes so that you have an independent read on your experimentation. Okay, so now that we've got a sense of how Bluecore is setting up the roadmap to help marketers identify and engage their best customers, uh, activate across channels with the same intelligence, and most importantly, be even more customer focused and surgical with your strategies, I want to talk a little bit about some of the underhood stuff that as day-to-day users of the platform, you will appreciate a peek behind the curtain on what we are working on to make Bluecore the best in class for reliability, transparency, and trust. Let's start with couponing. So couponing is the cornerstone of retail, and a key arrow in the quiver of a marketer to drive retention and a good customer experience for their shoppers. Whether you're using it to convert customers who are just hesitant at that last finish line before conversion, or you're using it to drive focused sales of specific inventory that you either want to promote or get rid of, or capture a new lead for a new customer to identify themselves, coupons are invaluable as a marketing tool. Persistent coupon codes will allow now brands to target a known shopper with the same coupon code across your customer touchpoints. And in addition to having a consistent experience across these touchpoints, this capability will also minimize the possibility of gamification due to asymmetries in systems. So I'm very happy to share that Bluecore will be upgrading our couponing capability to support full persistence and synchronization with your coupon platforms. What does this mean? The first iteration will basically surface the same coupon across touchpoints for email and website. It will have full synchronization with your coupon database to make sure that we understand issuance and redemption information so that we are always lockstep whenever we see the customer at a given touchpoint. Last but not the least, this creates a new arrow for you to actually leverage and talk to the customer, which is new triggers like coupon abandonment in order to improve lower funnel conversion. Next, I want to talk a little bit about observability and platform tracking. So data integration and event tracking is the backbone of our ability to effectively understand customer behavior and activate against them. We have made and are making additional investments here to get faster and earlier and more focused alerting if and when an integration breaks or changes. This ensures the freshness of data and proactive alerting for both our and your engineering teams to triage issues. We have already bought eligibility and purchase events monitoring into this new pipeline, and we have a full roster of events, including identification, cart, browse, etc., that's coming online in 2024. This trackability, today we are keeping it internal facing for the time being, mainly because we want to stabilize the views and streamline what the external worldview will look like. Once we have that finalized, we will share it with our users on the platform native experience as well. Okay. All right. Halts. Now, halts is one of the built-in protections that Bluecore offers to ensure that the end customer, your customer, doesn't get over-emailed. It helps triage between multiple campaigns that end customer might be eligible for at any given point of time and prioritizes the most valuable and apt communication for the customer in that moment in time. Now, in addition to halts, we have like AI-driven capabilities like auto prioritizer, send time optimization, and frequency capping, which are all designed to manage the volume, time, and frequency of an email to the customer. However, if a customer comms was halted, you wouldn't know it pre-hoc today. You would see it in the post-hoc analytics. Now we have the ability to show you what audience and recommendation logic that you're using for while constructing a campaign that might cause halts in your campaign, so that you can correct it before a campaign is launched and halts becomes a non-issue, right? You see it before rather than seeing what happened after. So this is again something that we have done internally, and it'll be coming into the platform for you very soon. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about continued investments that we are making in our platform to make the experience commensurate with the pace of retail. First of all, audiences and campaigns will have a faster load time because we're going to put in pre-filters there. A lot of you folks have got a lot of audiences or campaigns that are built, but what we're going to do is load like the first 30 days worth of information, the most relevant 30 days of information, so that it loads quickly, but you can switch to all campaigns or all audiences if you want. Second, as templates get more and more complex, we are enabling faster rendering of views and proofs in the campaign building experience. Third, dark mode is enabled. No more white borders. So with more users reading emails in dark modes on their phones, we have addressed a lacuna in the platform where the image background would show up white if it was not set up to be transparent. Now, load up a transparent background in PNG, and the dark mode will be truly dark again. Next, this one was actually a much oft requested capability. We have the ability to give you a model that says, oh, Prashant has got more affinity towards SMS or email. But now you'll have the ability to self-select SMS versus email audiences with the intent of experimentation and channel optimization. You'll be able to set up mutually exclusive but collectively exhaustive audiences, which are either only SMS or only email or both, right? That way you can test for like channel spend, efficiency, next best channel to talk on, stuff like that. Self-servicing right to be forgotten requests. So beginning Q3, you will be able to self-manage your GDPR or right to be forgotten requests that you get from your customers. It'll be a feature in the product UI, and it'll be guarded with access rights to the right users who are using the platform. But you don't have to reach out to support and send it across via email or anything. It'll be basically directly done in the platform, and you can manage it yourself. Last but not the least, we are continually investing in improving the stability and flexibility of our journey workflows. So that's an ongoing effort that we have in our platform to make sure that our platform is operating at the speed at which retail is evolving. So I'll hand it over to Shireen now to bring us to a close. Thank you.
Awesome. So as you all can tell, we've been very busy at Bluecore, and our roadmap is always organized around trying to increase the velocity of your business. The most important takeaway I can actually share is for everyone on this call to engage with Bluecore for a customer movement assessment. There's a QR code right on the screen. You can also email any of us, and we're happy to share more information with you. The customer movement assessment is really the first step to understanding where we can drive incrementality together for your business. These are complementary. They're done through a retail strategy team that has decades of experience in retail, from brands like Tory Burch, Foot Locker, Oriental Trading, Sears, Overstock, Sephora. I mean, some of the most important brands in the world. So highly encourage everyone to take that next step. We also always love to hear feedback from roadmap sessions like this around things that you feel are missing or that you would like more information on. So again, feel free to contact any of us on the screen, and your customer success and account management teams are also great resources as well. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Shireen. Thanks, Rosie. Thanks, Prashant. Thank you, everyone, for joining. If any questions come to you, like they come to me at night as I'm trying to fall asleep, please feel free to email us. If you forget any of the emails on the screen, you can always just email events@bluecore.com and we'll route you to the right person. For our little icebreaker raffle, our two winners are Chris Ribeiro and Brittany King. So I will be emailing the both of you with a $100 gift card to your favorite brand and your choice of charity. So congratulations to the two of you. And then outside of these virtual events, just wanted to let this crew know that we will be in person at Women in Retail at the end of this month, at CRMC in Chicago in June, and then at Commerce Next, CRMC in May in Chicago, and then Commerce Next in June in New York. So if you'll be there, we would love to meet up in person and let you know about some activations we have going on. So just let us know. But again, thank you so much. We hope you found this valuable, and we look forward to seeing you at our next roadmap.